Broadcasting furry truth and great opinions from a tiny comics box in secret. This is Furry Frequencies, your favorite furries on the highest frequency. I am Lifty, and joining me on today's podcast is Sylox.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Thank you for joining us this week as we are talking about yet another topic that is very much of interest to the furry community. And this week we're going to be focusing on FurAffinity because if you were on furry Twitter like sometime in the beginning of February, you heard a lot of hubbub about FurAffinity. And first things first, you probably heard about it primarily from Dragoneer himself. So Dragoneer on February the 1st made a big announcement both on FurAffinity and on Twitter. And he made the announcement. It's 2021 and change is in the air. We are happy to announce that FurAffinity is independent once again. Effective today, the site is under sole ownership of Dragoneer. We're looking forward to a productive year of new features, bug fixes, and continued site improvements. And of course, he followed this up with a tweet that he enthusiastically tweeted, "In today's news, I bought back FurAffinity. It's mine once again." Plops the site owner placard back on his desk. I missed you. And oof. So where do we begin? So okay, actually let's begin with a little bit of history for those of you who are not in the know regarding FurAffinity. So FurAffinity is, of course, one of the largest art sites for furry art on the internet. And it's been around for quite a while. I don't know when it first opened, but it's been around longer than I've been a furry. I don't know about you, Sylox.
I have no idea when it actually came online, but it has definitely been around longer than I've been a furry to.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, roughly 5 years ago, Dragoneer sold the website to a online social network, a 3D social network called IMVU or IMVU, where you make 3D avatars of yourself and basically just hang around in chat rooms. It was like a competitor Second Life, only it sucked. And for 5 years, it was under the ownership of IMVU. And a lot of people were kind of very suspicious about this sale because, furries, a lot of furries, they're very touchy about commercialization of the fandom, especially FurAffinity, which is one of the largest art platforms for furries on the internet. And so a lot of people were looking at this very suspiciously and thinking that, oh no, Dragoneer's selling out. He's going to be selling out to IMVU, and suddenly we're going to see IMVU ads everywhere. IMVU is going to be everywhere. Oh, IMVU this, IMVU that, IMVU. Well, flash forward 5 years, and we come to this moment where now Dragoneer is back to owning FurAffinity. And initially, a lot of people pretty much congratulated him and ass patted him. A lot of people said, "Congratulations, site owner, blah blah blah. Congratulations, welcome back, blah blah blah." And then after a little bit of that, however, people started asking some very innocent yet important questions about this deal. And this is where we start to find out that all is not well. All is not well.
So you remember that there's a meme from there's a point in the movie Infinity War where Thanos meets God. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'll remember it. Continue, and I'll bring it
Okay.
back. No, I got it. There's a point in Infinity War where Thanos meets a young Gamora, and Thanos is like, yeah, I was successful in all my goals, and then Gamora is like, but what did it cost? And then Thanos looks on and he's like, everything. So
just replace Dragoneer's head on Thanos.
Yes, this is pretty much that situation, everyone. It cost him everything.
So let's elaborate a little bit. So one person asked if the buyback set him back too much, and Dragoneer candidly replied. He said, yeah, it did. A lot. The biggest downfall is I lost my health insurance and I can't afford to get it replaced, which means I'm out of all my important medications. I can't afford them anymore. So this is a red flag right here. And let me just explain what's going on here. So when Dragoneer sold the website to IMVU, he was basically made into an IMVU employee. So IMVU was basically paying him to keep the site running, and of course being like a community manager sort of thing, to kind of manage the community on FurAffinity. So, IMVU didn't have to really mess with it too much. They did provide a lot of very experienced people like coders and network analysts or whatever. They invited some very smart people to work on FurAffinity and get a lot of weight off Dragoneer's shoulders so that he's not running the site and handling all the bug fixes himself. He's got a whole staff that is helping him do this. So he was made into a IMVU piece. So now that the IMVU and FurAffinity are parting ways, I think Dragoneer was given the right of first refusal, basically. So he was the first person to be given the offer to buy back the website. So
yeah,
if Dragoneer refused and it went to somebody else, he would, of course, probably be their employee instead. And would work, means that he gets the benefits of whatever they offer. But if the person who's buying back the website is himself, then that means good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. And like you said, what did it cost? Everything. But it goes even worse than that. So we learned that while he was talking, so Dragoneer was very, very candid on Twitter about this buyout, where he bought Dragoneer bought back FurAffinity at unfortunately a higher cost than the price that he sold it at.
That's crazy.
And even worse, he took out loans. He not only cleaned out his bank account to afford the site, he took out loans to afford it as well. And not only that, Dragoneer is really implying that he has no other forms of income besides his website. I know 5 years ago he wrote so 5 years ago when he announced the sale of FurAffinity to IMVU, he did announce that he worked for Amazon Web Services. And while he was very competent at his job and his employers loved him, he was, of course, working a lot of hours, and he did not feel very fulfilled working for Amazon Web Services. his fulfillment came from managing FurAffinity and actually, working with that. But now, if he's not working for anybody, then he's in really deep shit. Especially since he's off his health insurance, and he can't afford his medications. He's got medications for some mental conditions. I'll just put it that way. He's got and he's quitting them cold turkey. And this is I don't even need to consult a doctor to tell anybody this is a very, very, very bad idea. These are medications that are supposed to regulate your brain chemistry so that you can function normally. And if you don't have these, what's going to happen to your brain chemistry? This is going to fuck you up. I mean, this is oh my God. This is
to do all this just to get a piece of the pie of what you used to have, to me is lunacy, because you're setting yourself up for a situation where you aren't going to be able to adequately help yourself. God forbid you have an episode, and you don't have medication to control that. That's not necessarily good at all.
No, it isn't. And we're talking about medication that can help you function normally among other people. If you can't function with other people, if you can only function by yourself, you might be a danger to yourself one day. I mean, these are drugs that regulate your brain chemistry and help you from making some really, really bad decisions. And now that he keeps talking, of course, I'm looking at this thinking, what if, and some people have already speculated about this, what if this is a symptom of a manic episode that Dragoneer just had, where while he was given the right of first refusal, he felt like this website could go to nobody else. If anybody else has it, they'll ruin it. So he had to just take what he had and just put it at FurAffinity, throw it at FurAffinity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worries me. That's what worries me. And I'm thinking, if that's truth, then Dragoneer should not, he needs a nurse to handle his daily finances and make sure he doesn't do shit like this again. I'm serious. I'm not trying to troll here. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm saying I'm serious. This is not normal. And I mean, and he did say that that IMVU provided a lot of financial support, helped acquire servers, hosting, coverage, funding, development, brought on paid coders. And to me, that just makes me, that just sounds like the selling to IMVU was probably the best thing that happened to FurAffinity. Despite what the naysayers might say, despite what Dragoneer might say, I feel like if they had all of those resources devoted to one website to keep one website running, that's a lot. And that's, quite a lot that's been provided to keep FurAffinity running. And, that's all stuff that Dragoneer doesn't have. Dragoneer does not have IMVU levels of money and funding and hosting and coding. No.
He's pretty much on his own for the most part, so he doesn't have all that. He doesn't have the resources that IMVU had, and to do all this without those resources he's starting from scratch basically. And
yeah, he is.
He's promised a lot of stuff, a lot of changes will be coming to FA, and that costs that takes man hours. That's not going to be free. No one's going to do this for free.
No.
So unless he has the cash to front all of this, it's just, once again, empty promises that may or may not get done.
See, here's the thing, though. A lot of us, especially, gray muzzles like us, we know Dragoneer. We know what he's like. We know how he ran the site before he sold it to IMVU. So, of course, this is going back straight to that moment in time, back to before he sold it to IMVU. And we know how he raised money. You want to know how he raised money? He e-bagged. That's how he's making his money off FurAffinity. He's going to e-bag for every little thing. Anytime the servers take a dump, he's going to e-bag. Anytime he needs new servers, he's going to e-bag. Anytime he needs medications, he's going to e-bag. E-bag. And don't believe me? Okay, go ahead and go to the announcement on FurAffinity that's made February 1st, 2021. And, there's a new logo. We're going to talk about that logo in a bit. But underneath, or actually above that, it says FurAffinity Plus. FA is independent once again, and we need your help. Want to support the site? Considering signing up to FA Plus. For $5 a month, you can help support development and fund our coding team to deliver new features and improvements. Support FA by signing up at day one, people. Day one. And he's already starting the e-bag train. Day one. This is how he starts the e-bag. Once, and you're going to start to see a pattern out of Dragoneer, because we've seen this pattern out of him before. This is the problem, is that anytime something bad happens to FurAffinity, he always falls back on, well, we don't have enough money. Can you spare some change? He e-begs for everything. Even though, Dragoneer, no disrespect, you're a very competent person when it comes to coding and network management. You can definitely use those skills and put those skills to good use if somebody's hiring, especially in the area where you're in, Northern Virginia. Of course. There's people everywhere. I'm not saying that there's hiring right now. Nobody's hiring right now, as far as I know. But I'm saying when the economy booms back, when the economy comes roaring back and people need network administrators or site administrators, whatever, go for it. You need that. You need a job. You can't sustain yourself or the site on your own dime. You can't sustain either on e-bagging. And this is the most baffling thing about this. Of course, he gave up. He's so proud of this buyout. He's so proud that he was able to afford FurAffinity. Well, I wouldn't even say afford. That he was able to buy back FurAffinity, regardless of whether he can afford it. We know right now that he can't afford it. And let me tell you, if you are not used to how Dragoneer runs a site, get ready for some major outages, major sporadic outages, and all kinds of broken sites. Things just like the site just falling apart at random times, at random intervals. And, Dragoneer keeps on falling back on the same thing. Oh, yeah, we need more money. Remember when he raised money and for new servers and actually didn't get new servers with that money?
Yep. I wonder where the money went.
Oh, yeah, I wonder too. Yeah, I really wonder. But yeah, you're going to see more of that. Like, where is this money for FA Plus going towards? Coding team? It's going to fund the coding team, deliver new features and improvements. Okay, so what do you get for $5 a month? I mean, well, let's see. A website. Okay, so FA Plus benefits. Become a FurAffinity supporter. Shinies tipping enhancements. Customize the shinies. Oh, God. Jesus. FA Plus icon. Show off your support with a shiny FA Plus icon. Third-party ad blocking. That's
this
what
reminds me of?
you can get that for free.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a sorry attempt at trying to mimic what DeviantArt has had for the longest time. And that is their DA points. DA has like a DA point system. They also have like they also have like DA Pro accounts and different types of other accounts as well that you can pay to be a part of. And that money goes towards helping to fund the site. And this reminds me of what FA is trying to do, but they're doing it too late, doing it too late. And the issue with, and the reason I say that is because art sites are slowly losing members.
Yeah.
As we shift more towards social media to share our stuff, mainly Twitter, and to a lesser extent Instagram, places like DeviantArt and FurAffinity are going down, are just not being used as much anymore. Now, granted, FA has two things going for it. The first is Instagram and Twitter are horrible, just horrible sites for sharing artwork. Just based on how the galleries are set, how media is shared, the media tab is shared on Twitter and Instagram. They're horrible. And you can't even save pictures on Instagram. So that automatically,
not only that, I got another point about Twitter. Twitter compresses any pictures that you post on their website. So anything that you want to post in high resolution, nope, sorry. Whatever you get is whatever you get.
Yeah.
And I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people. Sometimes people really love high definition, high resolution pictures. So if you're posting it on Twitter, what you get on Twitter is all you get.
Yeah. And the other issue is FA benefits from being the only game in town. They have a monopoly, more or less, when it comes to furry, to being the go-to for furry art. You can say E621 exists, but E621 is an image gallery of everything. You aren't getting commissions on E621 or YCHs or whatever. So FA is the premier game in town because Furry Nation, Weasel, So Furry, whatever crap JSON Effects was trying to start, and any other attempt at knocking FA off its pedestal never materialized. So because of that, they're able to survive this. However, they are slowly bleeding membership, and slowly, usage is becoming lower and lower as we all flock to Twitter and to lesser extent Instagram to share our art. So
I find it
FA's decision to implement the Shiny program to me comes too little too late when your user base probably for the most part, unlike DA, your user base probably doesn't want to pay more for this feature, especially when they aren't seeing extra perks for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this was implemented, say, 4 or 5 years ago, then yes, I could see it. Because at that time, most people weren't on Twitter using it to share artwork. They weren't using that. It wasn't used for that. Everybody was still on FA. And Instagram wasn't even around, I think. So, FA, everybody was on FA. If it was implemented then, yeah, that would be fine. Because people would have bought into that because people were using it. Now, no.
Yeah. And, while I was reading more tweets from Dragoneer about the sale, I find it funny and it's almost sad in a way that Dragoneer insists that he's going to try to start up his drawing more and creating more art to help sustain himself and the website. Newsflash, Dragoneer. You go talk to any artist. And they'll tell you that's a difficult claim to make. Like you can't just spin up your art game and expect to actually afford this website and afford this website and actually work on it, and also be able to afford your lifestyle on art commissions. It's just not happening. It is just not happening. And and going back to Dragoneer, not being able to afford his meds. Okay, how do you expect to focus on art when you don't have the ability? You don't have the ability to focus on the art because your brain is everywhere. Your brain is focusing on everything except the art. So how on earth do you expect to focus on commissions, especially if people are paying you? How do you expect this? How do you expect to keep that up? You need your medications. You need your medications just to maintain a healthy lifestyle and a normal life. You can't just, spin up your art game and think, oh yeah, this will pay for my prescriptions. You know what's going to happen? There's going to come a time when all of this is going to come to a head, and Dragoneer is going to be forced to sell the website again, or he's going to have to declare bankruptcy or something, or he's going to put up a frantic post on Twitter saying, "Oh my goodness, you please donate. I'm going to be on the streets and oh my goodness."
I mean, if it comes to the FA being sold, who would buy it?
I mean,
actually, you know what? No, I know one person who would buy it.
Who is that?
Varka would buy it because Varka owns Bad Dragon, which also owns E621.
Why would he buy it? Why would he buy it?
Think about it. Consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Varka, I own E621, which is by far the most notable furry company out there. No disrespect to Hyena Agenda.
Mm-hmm.
If I have that, and I have Furry Nation, which I think Varka made that too. I could be wrong. But he also has E621, which is also a very well-known, if not meme-worthy, image sharing site.
Mm-hmm.
If I see FAs up for sale, I jump on that like white on rice because it is an opportunity to finally put capital to make FA great again. Unlike Dragoneer, Varka has the capital to make all those changes of reality on FA because he runs and owns the most successful furry business out there, Bad Dragon.
That, and I'm pretty sure Varka, he gave a few furries a tour of his house, and some furries took photos, and I saw the inside of his house. That dude has fuck you money. Varka, yeah, he has fuck you money.
So
like Dragoneer cannot even lay a single finger on the amount of fuck you money that Varka has. I don't know what he does aside from Bad Dragon, but goddamn.
Yeah, so if that goes up for sale, he'd be the first one, I think, who would be giving Dragoneer a call and giving him an out at that point. And if he didn't, I would be shocked because to me, that is an excellent business move. You consolidate everything at that point under one roof, under one banner. Bad Dragon, E621, FA. Consolidate that under one giant company. You run all of that.
Well,
think about it. It's a good idea. I would do it.
Well, if we want to believe Dragoneer, 5 years ago, Dragoneer said that everybody whom wanted to buy FurAffinity 5 years ago a lot of people wanted to buy it to get rid of it. So, I mean, if we want to believe Dragoneer here, what are the odds that the first person who buys it, or the first person who makes the best offer for Dragoneer, or for Affinity, basically buys it and shuts it down. What are the odds?
It's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know, it would depend on the situation. If it's a situation where Dragoneer has the option to be picky and choose someone who will agree in a contract or whatever to not shut it down for a certain amount of time, then yeah. But if he has no options and has to take the first deal, then it is what it is. And
I'm thinking that he's in dire straits right now. Even if it doesn't look it, he is in dire straits. Like, the dude is off his meds. He's taken out a loan. He is dead broke just to afford this website. How long do you think he's going to last? How long do you think any of this is going to last before the website finally shits itself and he's forced to sell it?
I think that. So I don't know what he does for a living. I can only assume that.
Absolutely fuck all. Like, I already mentioned this. He's broke. He's broke. He has no insurance. He doesn't have any way to afford his meds. He's dead broke, and he's planning to just do this in his full time. Take care of this website full time. He has no income aside from whatever he can scrounge from this website and from e-begging. That's it. He doesn't work for anybody else, as far as I can tell. Like seriously, dude. If he was working for anybody else, he would be on. Don't you think he would be on their insurance? He was working for IMVU for the last 5 years, and he was, as far as I can tell, enjoying his work. But right now he's got nothing.
True, but I think that if it came to it, he would make the conscious decision to probably get a job. I
I'm
don't like.
sure he would get. I'm sure he's going to get a job as soon as he can. And right now, it's a terrible time to look for a job.
Well, luckily for him, his skills are in demand.
They are, but
especially
I said,
in this
nobody's
area.
hiring right now. Nobody's hiring right now. You're gonna have to wait a few months. But I'm saying, how long can Near just sit and wait? I know
Maybe
he needs
he
a
has
job.
stuff. Maybe he has. Well, you're right. He said he's broke. Then
Yeah,
maybe
he's broke.
being financed. Well, he did say that he will be doing commissions to pay for his meds and
Sylox, time out. I already mentioned this. If he's off his meds, cold turkey, how many commissions do you think he's going to be able to do when he can't focus on that?
I don't know. I don't know the. Well, I don't. Okay, so I don't
This
want
is
to
a
say
bad
what he has.
situation.
So
I
I don't
mean,
want to say.
I'm not one to assume, but this is a really bad situation. I mean, I'm just like, I'm looking at all this and just cringing as hard as I can, because this is not something that I would be proud of right now. I would be looking at this and it's like, oh shit, I'm making a terrible mistake.
It is. But again, I don't want to mention the issue, what he takes his meds for, because that is a personal, private issue thing for him to talk about and him only. So I don't know the symptoms that go along with his perceived medical issue. I can assume. I will assume that he won't be always dealing with those symptoms 24/7, that not if he's off his medicine and there is some kind of willpower there, so maybe he's able to get stuff done. But just the idea of not having insurance just so you can afford to buy back a furry website, to me, is just crazy.
Well, like I said, he's for the past 5 years he worked with IMVU. He was an IMVU employee, and so he got IMVU health insurance. But now that he bought the site back himself, he's having to rely on himself. He cannot, just pull a health insurance plan out of his ass.
Well,
So,
luckily for him, because of the incoming administration, what they've done is they've opened up a special enrollment period for the Affordable Care Act. So he's able to get health insurance. Like, it just opened up, I think, a few days ago. So he's able to get coverage under the Affordable Care Act, provided he is eligible for it. So it's not as if he will go without insurance. I don't know his financial situation. It would be easy for me to look it up because I can talk to Virginia to do that. I would never do that because I lose my job. The point is, if he qualifies, he get coverage under the Affordable Care Act, so he'll fine. I don't know what plan he'd get, but he'd be fine. So that issue will take care of itself. As far as everything else, like rent, car payments, insurance, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe he has parents who will spot him in cash or friends. But if not, then that's not a good situation for him. And it just makes this entire decision to buy back for Affinity even more perplexing.
yeah. And yeah, and I'm sure that the dude, I'm sure that Dragoneer, he has a very comfortable life, but that was considering that he was employed and whoever was employing him was paying him very, very well. And of course, with his skill set, he would, of course, deserve to be paid very, very well. But when you take all of that away, everything's just a big question mark. Like, how's he affording his house? How is he affording his groceries? How is he affording FurAffinity? Blah, blah, blah. All of these questions are just a giant question mark because we don't know. We don't know how he's providing for himself when he's got the FurAffinity website to provide for as well. And like I said, the buyback was not the only change in FurAffinity. As you may have noticed, he did change one other major aspect of FurAffinity, and that was, of course, the site logo. And right there in the journal, and of course, at the very beginning, if you go to FurAffinity.net, of course, it's right there in the corner. And I gotta say, this is a terrible, terrible logo. I was looking at it and I'm like, great, all that money, and he spent it on changing the logo to a cum stain. Like, I'm looking at this and like, who jizzed on this? Who jizzed on this and stepped on it? This is what this is. It's just
a pretty bad logo.
It's a very bad logo. It's like a jizz stain that you step on. Who is this? Who does this appeal to? Paw fetishists? This is terrible. And he says that it tosses a throwback to FA's original trademark icon, the classic paint can. And I'm looking at this as like, this means absolutely fuck all. Like, this doesn't scream anything about FurAffinity except for the paw print. Like, nothing. It's just terrible. This looks like something that you could have shot out. This literally looks like shit. It literally looks like diarrhea that you stepped in. Ew, I stepped in FurAffinity. Ew. I mean, this is terrible. I honestly feel like the old logo was way, way better and actually expressed what FurAffinity was about. It was the old Fender logo that was, kind of geometric in a way. I liked it. I loved it. And then I see it replaced with this, and it's like, God damn it, I missed that old logo. I can't stand this. And of course, I felt the same way when DeviantArt changed their logo. It used to be a DA, and now it's whatever the hell that is. Oh. But yeah, I'm so I'm saying for anybody who is not prepared for what Dragoneer management style for websites is like, be prepared, because you're about to see some random outages all day. You're going to see long outages. I mean, day-long outages, just like the old days. But nevertheless, when we started this podcast, we were measuring this really long outage by FurAffinity, and that was, of course, back when IMVU had it. Do you remember how long it was out? Was it out for like 48 hours or something?
Yeah, wasn't there a time where it was down for like 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, it was
That was
it was yeah, it was out for an absurd long time of that. Well, I mean, with Dragoneer at the helm and taking over everything, be prepared to see more of that. Just be prepared to see more of that, because I know for a fact Dragoneer cannot handle a website all by itself. If you want to help him, feel free. See, Dragoneer, I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm trying to give you help here. I'm trying to tell people, hey, you're going to need help. Go ahead, help him out, because he's going to need a lot of help. But if he starts e-begging, I'm saying start questioning where that money's going. If it's going to rent, bills, whatever, then ask him, is this to, up to maintain your living? Or if it's going on the website, ask him that, is this to go pay for new servers? Is this to pay for site costs or whatever? But if he starts getting wishy-washy on what this costs and what the money's going to, I'd be very skeptical about giving him another dime, because he's done this before. And he's raised a lot of skepticism within the furry community in regards to where the money that they're sending him is going. And it's, we've been through this before. We know you, Dragoneer. We know you. And do not give me this thing where, Dragoneer could be the only person that could buy it and make it succeed. No, I don't believe that for a second. I believe, like you were talking about, Sylox, you had Barca as a potential person who could buy out FurAffinity and have untold amounts of fuck you money to throw at this website to make it run.
Yeah, of course.
That's just one possibility. I'm not saying it's the possibility, but it's one possibility. I'm sure there were several others. I'm not believing for a second that there are people that just want to buy it just to shut it down. Why would you piss away that much money? Why would you piss away something that makes money if you can properly market it? Why would you piss away something that would make money for you? Hell, Dragoneer, why don't you start a Patreon? Not for yourself and your art, but for the website. I really don't know what was going through Dragoneer's head when he was offered this site. I really don't know, but I can't see anything good coming out of this buyout. I just can't. And call me a naysayer if you must, call me a troll, whatever. But I'm just like, I'm really worried, because Dragoneer has to compete, like you said, Dragoneer has to compete with Twitter and Instagram for the same users. The same users are posting their work on both Twitter, Instagram, if possible, if they're safe for work, of course, and FurAffinity. And they're also reaching out to other websites like Furry Network. They're going to Ink Bunny. They're going to all those other sites. Even Wagnermutt. Did you know this? Wagnermutt himself is starting a beta test of his own social network for furries. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Believe it or not, yes, Wagnermutt. He started giving out keys to his new network on his Twitter account, and that's another competitor to FA. I mean, you can't expect everybody to just cram into FA and stay in FA forever. when all of these competitors are surrounding you like sharks in the sea, there's no way you can reasonably think they're going to just circle around you all day, every day, ad infinitum. One of them is going to take the first bite, and that's when you're done. Or at the same time, you've got a lot of weight pulling you down right now, Near. You've got a lot of weight regarding the loan that you took out to buy FA. Whenever that's due, you're going to be up shit creek. If you have nothing to actually, if you have no source of income, you're going to be up shit creek when those loans come due. And this is going to be pretty ugly if there's no plan to maintain both your way of life and the website. I know shit's hard right now, but at the same time, because shit's hard right now, we're very conservative on what we like buy and make plans on and such. Dragoneer, this is not something that you had to buy. That's what I'm trying to say. You did not have to buy this website. I'm sure there was somebody who could have bought it, who would have taken you under their wing and provided for you. Granted, you work for them. You didn't have to be that person.
Exactly. This was not necessary.
No, this was not necessary. And it to celebrate the buying of this website and then candidly talk about what it cost and what you had to sacrifice to buy it means you got screwed. You got screwed, and you don't want to face the music and tell everybody, I got screwed. I fucked up. You don't want to admit that. I know for a fact that Dragoneer is a very prideful person, and he doesn't want to admit when he fucked up. But I know everybody around him knows. Everybody around him can notice. Because we're not blind, we're not deaf. We can read. We can read your tweets. And yeah, unfortunate that it's unfortunate that IMVU and I decided to part ways. But hey, it is what it is. But I'm saying right now, you do not have to be the person who buys that website. You were not the savior of FurAffinity to keep it going how IMVU had it. Because you don't have the resources to keep it running like that. You're not IMVU. You don't have a team of coders. You don't have a team of you don't have financing. You don't have any kind of team. You don't have a team. You don't have any. You don't have the resources to keep it running like IMVU did. And I'm sorry if that is very straightforward, but somebody's got to say it. And I know a few people have been saying it, aside from the people that have been ass-patting Dragoneer about this. Few people were saying it. And, I hope Dragoneer is looking at this and it's like, yeah, you're right. Instead of saying, oh, you're just a troll. I'm going to block you, ban me. Okay, you know what? These are my words. Feel free to try to find me on FA. I don't even use FA. I've lost touch with FA years ago, back when you first ran it. I decided, I've had enough of this crap, and I stopped using it. I go to Twitter, I go to Instagram, I go to E621. When I can go to E621 and get what I need way faster, way better, with better optimization, then you've got a problem.
That's a
Your
big
website has a big problem. When I have to wade through so much crap and fluff to get to the picture that I want, then you probably have a problem with your website compared to E621. But like I said, I can go to E621 and get what I need for free any time of the day or night. And E621 runs very, believe it or not. I mean, I don't even remember the last time it was shut down or it had to like shut down for maintenance or anything. No, it's amazing. So, like I said, this is just a ticking time bomb before this whole house of cards that Dragoneer has built with FA suddenly comes crashing down. And everybody's forced to just head for the hills, either on Twitter or Instagram or any other website, you know, Wagner Mutt's new social media for furries.
That other website, what's it called?
Fuck, I don't know.
Furry Life Online or Weasel?
Oh, that bullshit.
Or Jay
Weasel.
Sodafex's whatever crap that he thought he was going to do. You know, there's a whole bunch of competitors. And
yeah, like I said, they're all like, Dragoneer is like floating in the middle of the ocean right now, stranded on some piece of driftwood, and he's surrounded by a circle of sharks. He cannot expect that circle of sharks to just keep circling and circling and circling all the time. One of them's gonna try to bite off his leg, and then it's done. He's done. FA is done. I don't know how long that will take, but this is a disaster waiting to happen. This is a train wreck. This is the site of a future train wreck. Anyway, we're almost out of time, so we do have to cut it short. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you like what you hear, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos here on YouTube. And also, please feel free to follow us on Twitter at Furry Frequency for more updates and for other shenanigans. Anyway, this has been Furry Frequencies, signing off with Lifty
and Sylox.
Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode. We hope you join us again next week. Good night.